arrives in about 3 hours. We have Young Man Hill talking about Old Man Winter.
But real quick, because I can't get over that, I can't let it go. Raise your hand with me if you believe that it's nuts that it's technically still fall.
Yeah.
I think it's nuts that the season
It does feel like winter already.
You guys don't feel it? Drew
We need to
feels?
move the
It
date
feels-
up, the solstice.
Yeah, the producer's raising their hand. So the winter solstice, 1 minute before 8 o'clock. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, in the real world, it's winter out there. All right. We have a dry start. We are down to 35. Temps in the last couple of hours have really started to nosedive. So there will be some foggy, frosty spots out there to start your day, but a completely dry forecast until we get into this evening. All right, so here's your dry break. 44 at noon, depending on the fog. We hope to get some morning sun, and then cloudy later today and 47 at 5 p.m. before the showers arrive.
All right, Rod, thank you so much. We want to get you to some breaking news we've been following all morning. Southwest Morrison downtown is shut down right near Providence Park and across the street from the Stadium Fred Meyer store, where a man was found dead after a shooting. Now, we don't have many details about what led up to this shooting, but Morrison is taped off up until 18th, and there are evidence markers in the street. We'll bring you more information as we get it.
All right, let's get to our top COVID headline this morning. We know the Omicron variant is now the dominant strain of COVID in the United States, and 2 local cases of the variant have been detected in Clark County. It was just last week that all schools in Clark County paused their wrestling programs. Health officials have traced at least 200 COVID cases to a handful of wrestling tournaments in Washington earlier this month. 34 of those cases involved wrestlers and coaches from 6 schools in Clark County, and one of those 34 cases is confirmed as an Omicron case. Yesterday, we heard from Clark County's medical director about recent projections from the University of Washington.
They're estimating that more than 50% of the recent specimens submitted are likely to be the Omicron variant, but we don't know that for sure. We just know that it is increasing rapidly in Washington state as it is increasing rapidly elsewhere.
Later this morning, Clark County will hold a special Board of Health meeting to take public comment on the suspension of wrestling activities until after the start of the new year.
Later today, President Biden will speak to the nation about his latest plans to address Omicron. The CDC says the highly contagious variant now accounts for 73% of new cases, overtaking Delta.
That punch of a surge on top of depleted healthcare workforces, that's when mortality goes up. So this, I think, is going to be the most important thing I'm looking for in the president's remarks.
Health experts have yet to determine whether Omicron will cause more severe disease, but they say vaccination should offer strong protections against severe illness and death. The White House says Biden is set to issue a stark warning about the dangers facing unvaccinated Americans. He'll also talk about expanding access to tests amid long lines and difficulty getting at-home test kits.
Yeah, trying to find a COVID test around here before Christmas or New Year's may be a challenge.
Absolutely. Supply is limited, and health experts say it'll only get harder to buy a rapid test as Omicron spreads. The search at pharmacies like Walgreens and CVS proved to be challenging for our crew. Here in Portland, appointments online for a drive-through test were almost non-existent yesterday. The stock of at-home rapid tests sold out in all but one location. Experts say if you can get one, at-home tests are just as effective to indicate when someone is contagious, as long as you follow those directions very closely.
The swabbing, I call it rubbing and rolling, 15 seconds each side, kind of no joke, really picking up the lining of your nose there and not hurting yourself. You do not have to hurt yourself. You just have to do it with purpose.
Thank goodness.
Walk-up rapid testing was available at the Oregon Convention Center, but there was a line. The healthcare startup Curative does have other locations, and appointments are available all across the metro area.
Let's talk about schools now, because Washington passed a new law earlier this year requiring schools in the state to remove Native American mascots. It's a conversation that's been going on a long time. Experts have found these kinds of images can be damaging for young Native Americans, including one high school student from Spokane who was fed up with seeing her culture inside a display case at her school.
To me, it looked like animals in a zoo. We've heard that a lot. To see those mannequins in the case that were supposed to represent me, people were telling me I should feel honored by that. I don't feel honored. Why do I have to feel honored by something that doesn't represent me?
She successfully got her mascot changed. Now they're called the Wolves. The deadline for all schools in Washington to make these changes is coming up next week, December 31st. Schools that choose not to comply could lose state funding.
We're learning some new details about the future of Portland's Lloyd Center. Facing foreclosure and a lot of uncertainty, small business owners learned yesterday that a major part of the mall will remain intact. Catherine Cook has the story.
Love this place, and so now this is going to be one of his Christmas presents.
If you know Joe Brown's caramel corn at the Lloyd Center, you know what's in that can. Sweet, crunchy nostalgia.
It's a lot of history here. You get a lot of people coming in, telling us the history.
Joe Brown's is part of David Ferguson's childhood. Now he owns it. The last original store from the mall's grand opening in 1960, a world away from the state of this and many malls today. Lloyd Center's anchor stores gone. Many smaller storefronts also empty.
It's been an up and down roller coaster, but the good thing is Joe Brown's pretty solid brand, so we've been able to maintain, but we've all, just like everyone else, we've seen a lack of sales.
But Monday brought word of a new chapter in the mall's history and hope. Seattle-based developer Urban Renaissance Group shared that it will renovate the Lloyd Center. Their plans include creating residential and office space while preserving features like the ice rink, retail, and workspaces. Welcome news for Ferguson.
I'm starting to see some changes, so I'm totally confident in staying here and happy to be here. Like I said, we'll never go anywhere as long as they don't force us to.
If Joe Brown's is sticking around, we're going to stick around. That's the way I see it.
Troy Douglas owns Cultural Blends, a shoe and sports nostalgia shop.
And that was great news today.
He says the toughest part of all of this has been the unknown. About 3 years of it.
In 2018, the vibe in the mall, there was a darker energy. Nowadays, it's like we've moved past the idea that Lloyd Center isn't going to be what it was. I think the general consumer base has now, like, what is it going to be next? And so that's where we're at. There's more of a, with this news, is there's more of a hope.
The developer, Urban Renaissance Group, is partnering with New York-based KKR Real Estate Finance Trust. The lending company took ownership of Lloyd Center after the mall fell a year behind on payments toward its $110 million debt.
I'm confident that it'll come back.
In the meantime, Joe Brown's is still here with all its history and secrets.
What is the recipe for Joe Brown's caramel corn?
Nice try. That'll never come out of the book.
In Northeast Portland.
You aren't the only person that tries it, though. Trust me.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
It's an interesting turn of events, Rod. I mean, the fact is, a month ago, we had the mall all but dead and buried, right? It was gone. This new story brings some hope.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it seems to be furthering the story that there will be a redevelopment there of sorts, right? Not going to be the mall probably that we all remember, but
have hope, Rod.
I hope. Wouldn't it be great if that was a new center that we all wanted to go to, right? Holiday Park's right there. A lot of people live over there. All right, here's what we're watching. East winds still blowing to 30 out in Troutdale. I thought those might lessen up by this morning, but the fact is it's colder out in the gorge than it is here in the valley and at the coast generally, so the winds haven't tapered off. You get away from the gorge, the winds are pretty light this morning. No more watches or warnings for the gorge. It's dry out there this morning. And conditions along I-84 are fine. 32 in Hood River, a freezing start. You folks get up to maybe 40 today, so it's still going to be a relatively chilly day for you. Here are the other numbers. With partly cloudy skies and the moisture done, it did shut off last evening, so we're completely dry. Temps have started to really dive. We're 35 in Portland, and there are some spots getting pretty close to hitting freezing. It's 10 out in Burns right now. They were 9 an hour ago, by the way. All right, so I mentioned dry during the daytime hours, and then we have showers returning as quickly as this evening. Next storm system showing up offshore. Morning fog, but hoping for some sunshine before clouds sticking up later today. Futurecast gives us the hope for some sun at noon, except for the coast. And then here we are at 5 p.m. Still mainly dry. This evening showers come rolling in. There they are. The next storm front comes in tomorrow evening, and there will be some heavier pockets of rain during the day tomorrow, especially as we go late day tomorrow. 7-day forecast numbers, 47 today. Today's the only completely dry day during the daytime between now and Christmas, so take advantage. Tomorrow, 49. And then behind the front tomorrow night, it's colder Thursday and Friday, low 40s for highs. And then we're still looking at accumulating snow over Christmas weekend and the first part of next week. We'll talk details on that more coming up at 5:37, 5:38. You stay with me until that time, and then we'll talk about it.
I cannot wait. All right, Rod, thank you. The ongoing teacher shortage is hitting special education students really hard. Coming up here in about 5 minutes, what parents are doing as PPS continues to deal with a staffing shortage. Plus, you may have seen the headlines talking about a 5G cell phone technology causing problems for airplanes. Our Verified team digs into what's true and what's not.